You're listening to the Bogota Boys, recorded at the No Limit Cafe, downtown Bogota, Tennessee. We hope you enjoy this episode. The Bogota Boys are sponsored by Cypress Creek Outdoors, Lane Dunning Custom Calls, Pine Bluff Sand and Gravel, Outer Limit Power Sports, Hurt Seed and Halls, Farm Credit Mid-America, Tyson Foods in Newbern, DeKalb Asgrow and Delta Pine, Berrien Surveying, Mud Lake Planning Company, Pete Kaiser Accounting Services, West Tennessee Crappie Fishing Guide Service, Chase Petty Outdoors, Universal Contractors, Ford Construction, Duck River Bird Taxidermy, Waterfowl Outfitters of West Tennessee, Wendell Alexander Realty, Hilliard Farms in Nauvoo, Will and Oliver Pinson with Hydrocon LLC Wetland and Environmental Consultants, Chofe Cotton, Cairo Farmers Gin, Nutrient Ag in Wimberg, and our very own Childress Farms.
Am I hosting?
Yeah.
I figured I was. Y'all wanted to have some real entertainment today. Good morning, afternoon, late night, whatever it is what time it is you're listening to the Bogota Boys. This is the Bogota Boys. We're broadcasting or recording live. We're live. This will be a recording at the No Limit Cafe in downtown Bogota, Tennessee, the duck hunting capital of the galaxy. Today I've got my co-host with me. I got RT Fuzzle.
Hello.
Hello, RT. I got Wally, my brother. Hey, Wally.
Gracias.
Gracias. And then we got White Beaver. We dropped the S today.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, White. You kind of scared me there. What's been going on, guys? We'll start with you, RT.
Not a whole lot. Working and hunting some and taking care of baby and wife.
I think you've been working some and hunting a lot.
Yeah.
And probably have been taking
That's
care
what
of
we've
the
all
baby
been
and
doing.
wife. But anything else going on?
No, I'm not going to say anything else if I'm going to be contradicted.
But then you're not going to probably say anything the rest of the.
That's normally how it goes.
That's why our ratings have gone from 8 listeners to 9.
I normally just
we're
run.
13.
Hey,
13.
maybe
I'll just run the soundboard over here and y'all talk.
Hey,
well, that's
RT,
good.
maybe we can title this one RT versus Tony.
Yeah.
No,
You wasn't even, but you were
Me and
put,
White just sit over and watch.
you were put the RT in a small letter.
I did earlier. I was thinking, the turkey hunting. Everybody loved that episode. I was like, what could I talk about that would be similar to it? And I got to thinking about our goat roping the other day, Tony. I was like,
Oh, Lord.
that would be a good one to talk about.
Please tell
Well,
us.
anyway, we're doing introductions right now. You going to let me host White, or you going to do it?
There he goes.
There you go.
Angry again.
Wally, what have you been doing this week?
We've had the commissioner's hunt. We've done talked about the women's hunt, haven't we? That's coming
Yep.
on the episode 4. Just had a lot of people around. We've had a snow. Hunting's been steady, but not as great as we thought was going to happen with the freeze up and all. But now we're starting to kill only mallards, so I don't know where all the shovelers are.
Hadn't seen them all year. Hadn't really seen
Seen a few groups.
hadn't seen the green winged tails like we normally watch.
Was here early.
I
We
agree
had
with
none.
that.
Couple groups of canvasbacks.
Yep,
Yeah,
saw
we've
them.
seen some canvasbacks fly through the fields.
Yep.
But
Yep.
the ducks, last night I sat there and 45 minutes after shooting times when they were started coming in the fields.
After it done gotten dark.
Hard to
I've
kill
been-
them that late.
Well, it's illegal to
Well, it
get
gets
home.
dark and you got to shoot to see your gun or you can shoot
Yep.
again.
You know, I've often thought, you mentioned the shovelers, for years that was what you saw. I just wonder if we've taken advantage of the shovelers, and I think I read somewhere where their breeding population is down. I wonder if we're starting to see the effects of that. And green winged tail.
I have not seen the teal like I've wanted to. That's for sure. Or the shovelers.
Yeah. What about you, White? What you been doing?
Man, just been hunting. Just hunting. Was hoping for a little bit better outcome to this weather and this cold snap and snow, and it's been good. It's been decent, but yeah, just hunting, just grinding it out on the final stretch here.
How's your arm, Wyatt?
It feels good. Feel back to
Does?
normal.
Really?
Don't overuse it. Make sure you take care of it.
Feel good. I mean, I'm not lifting anything with it. I'm not using it other than bare minimum stuff, but it feels good.
Well, me, I've been working and I've been hunting a little bit more here in January. I've been able to get some time off, and that's been good.
Yeah, you showed up, 11 o'clock the other day when we come out, and then we went back in at 2 and you left.
Wonder why.
He doesn't like
Yeah.
to hunt with you.
Well, that's understandable, but, it's just kind of weird.
He was upset we were leaving too. He was like, "Why y'all all leaving? I just got here."
That was called sarcasm, Marte.
We drew him a picture
That was called
Of what?
sarcasm.
of us walking away.
And I'd stay there.
I don't-
I had to protect the hole.
I don't think he was amused by your picture.
You don't think so?
No.
I don't remember seeing the picture.
When
What's in your mind right now?
we came back though, we got to see him wing a blue goose off though.
Wing one, I killed him.
Wing it. No, you winged it.
It fell right in front
3
of the blind.
shots. Front of the blind.
Well, fell
Fell
off
down the tree line. The dog had to run it down.
He didn't have to. I had it. I picked me out. They wanted me to, flock shoot. I picked me
No,
out.
we wanted you to triple with all of us watching, and all you got was a wing.
Yeah, they hollered. Anyway, I got one, killed one. I picked out one goose, and I shot one goose. That's what you do.
Hey, you know what we've been seeing? Talking about geese, we've been seeing some avian flu geese. We've seen a few dead ones out in our field. Yep. Have
It's
y'all?
funny, you always see these things. We never see none of it
Y'all hadn't seen any?
We had one.
that we killed, but it was
Yeah.
still alive.
Yeah,
Well,
it
you know-
wasn't dead.
No, we've had 2 or 3 just out in the field. Like you can walk right up to them.
Were they dead?
They were on the brink of it. Yep.
You put them out of their misery.
One of them was already dead. Yeah, put them out of their misery.
I'm sure there are some of those things. Anyway, we've talked about the weather a little bit. I mean, today as we're broadcasting, I think they're forecasting it to be somewhere between 45 and 50 degrees.
Yeah.
No, I think the high today was 43.
Somewhere in the 40 to 50. I mean, it's warm
Yeah.
compared to what it was.
That's
It'll,
right.
should be good hunting.
It's
after
sunny.
We get through.
It's sunny today. The wind's blowing out of, I think, the southwest.
Southwest, yep.
This ought to be a good day to, if the birds fly, get some movement on the water and get some, the sun on the decoys, and it's good time to hunt. It's today's the 12th.
Well, yeah.
19 more days left in this duck hunting season.
19 days before
The
youth
thir-
The
banquet.
youth banquet.
Yes, 19 days before the youth banquet, which I'm certain we'll talk about here in a few minutes. The weather forecast, the river, let's talk about the river. The last 2 episodes we've had, the Obion River has had big rains on it, and the river was on the rise the last 2 times that we broadcast. There was some fresh water and things. The river is really falling now. I noticed it's falling out of, what do you call it, Pool 1? Is that what
I called it Ponderosa.
Ponderosa.
We call it the Ponderosa. It's the first pool to go to WMA as you coming off the bridge there to the left. There were some people hunting in it, I know, earlier. But the water all fell out of that. I think probably, I hadn't looked at the gauge today, but I bet the river's at 10 foot, and it's a steady
It was down. Yeah, when I just came across it.
steady fall. I'm sure the bio's going down. I looked at the long-range forecast, the next 7 days, and they're calling for some rain this coming weekend, but I don't think they're calling for much. They're also calling for some cold weather about midweek.
Yeah.
Highs in the low 30s and lows in the teens at night. That ought to be, and sunny. So I don't know about what type of wind or anything we're going to have, but it's time to, if you're going to go duck hunting, you got 19 more days to go. And I encourage you all to get out in the blinds and try to at least, harvest the duck if you can. And if you can, just enjoy the nature that God gives us. Sometimes you just looking around and saying things it's enough to satisfy me. Now, Wally, we want to talk about the refuge numbers, and you tried to get them today. But what was the outcome of that?
The only Gimme White's Lake was 73,500, and that was done on
Thursday.
was it Thursday?
Yeah.
I
Sometime-
think
I think
flew
it was
Thursday.
Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday.
It was the day before the snow.
Yep.
You told me about
What day did it snow?
it snowed Friday. So
It
it
was Thursday.
it was Thursday.
And I did hear some talk that there is quite a few ducks on some private ground up the O'Bine, more water on the O'Bine than the Fork of Deer. And there's a world of snow geese here right now.
Lots of snow geese in the area. Lots of snow geese. It'll be the other numbers are coming out tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we can get them tomorrow. Maybe we can put them on our Instagram page.
Or
which
maybe-
will still come out before this broadcast.
Or maybe the Facebook. We can get them put it on the Facebook. I think our listeners were like, I mean, that's kind of an up-to-date thing that I think people would like to see.
Yeah.
There's been probably, I mean, it's down a little bit from what the count was 2 weeks ago, but a lot of that may be attributed to the fact that the river's been up when they did the count, and there's a lot of ducks that were probably scattered up and down private places. I know we've seen several ducks flying up and down the O'Bine River east of Bogota that we hadn't seen happen in a while, and I think that's interesting. And
Somebody up here mentioned that. They seen ducks going east across Bogota and they hadn't seen in years.
yeah, and
Here
I
at the
think
cafe.
I think that's promising.
Yeah, they canceled the duck blast because of the ice.
That was supposed to be
Are they going to redo it or what?
They said next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
probably too late to do it this year. I don't know. I'm not involved in that. We talked about the hunting and RT and I think White, you both said it wasn't what you had hoped for with the weather that we had. Friday during the snow, it was
good.
an unusual snow.
Yeah. Well,
It was the first snow I can remember. It snowed a lot, and I figured we got 6-8 inches. I mean, it was a lot, but it was
Yeah.
melt. I mean, it was.
it was like a wet snow.
Yeah, it was melting. It really wasn't
Yeah.
that cold. Of course,
No.
you need if it gets real cold, it's not going to snow around here because there's no moisture in there. And things never did freeze. I mean, we didn't get the water didn't freeze solid. The ground didn't ever freeze solid. And I think Friday temperature got up, 37, 38 degrees?
Yeah.
On
Hey,
Saturday.
we killed a band in the snow. Wasn't that today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You killed a banded duck?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. What was it on?
A mallard.
Mallard? Green? Where was it banded at?
Manitoba.
Manitoba. You're kidding.
Swear.
Adam killed 2 bands
Adam-
during them 2 days.
Yeah. Adam
A lot of bands being killed, and they're not local bands either.
one of the ones that Adam killed was from Manitoba. It was a greenhead, and it was several years old. And then he killed one that was it was banded at somewhere in Kentucky,
Ballard County.
Ballard
yep.
County, and that duck was 10 or 11 years old.
Yep. And I was beside Ballard County the first of last week, and we killed 2 bands one day. One of them was banded February of last year at Ballard, and another one was February last year in Arkansas.
Arkansas
So they were already here when they got banded.
in February. There was but the Manitoba tells you there's some big northern mallards that come down. Mm-hmm. Maybe they'll stay down for the next 19 days.
Yeah, I just don't feel like the weather gave us a quote unquote push. I think it changed their behavior of the ducks we already had. Like, I don't know that we're getting a push or we've had a push since December sometime. Do you agree, RT? I know you're kind of into
Yeah.
that stuff too with me.
But we're killing mallards that we
We
weren't
are
killing earlier.
We're killing mallards. I don't know. Maybe
I think
we
the
did.
ducks that we have had all season are just concentrating. They have no reason to
Yeah.
get up and fly around.
Yeah.
Now,
And
that
it-
may
and it-
change in about a week. They may run out of food wherever they're at, get up, fly around, but I don't think that
I
they're.
think the ducks we have are here, and when a weather something like the other day, the snow, it makes them behave different.
Yeah.
So you kill a few.
I don't think the cold temperatures that they were forecasting really materialized.
No.
I mean, it didn't get
No.
down into the single digits it got down to the teens, I think, one night. It just never did. We never did get that freeze up.
I feared we'd get like maybe a little push from like St. Louis, because I think St. Louis got hit pretty
Did it?
good.
And maybe I don't know.
But I don't feel like we did, based on what I've seen.
But
Could
anyway,
be wrong.
there's probably still, I imagine when the numbers come out tomorrow, I bet there'll still be somewhere around 200,000 ducks up and down this O'Bine River, which is a lot of waterfowl.
It is.
That's a lot of waterfowl. I had somebody y'all want to talk any more about the weather, the river, or anything like that?
No.
Do you? I mean, if you do,
I want to hear about this goat roping.
no, I got something else I want to talk about.
He's got something else, so we're just going to talk about that.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Tony.
Since I am the host,
Well,
And
after
y'all-
that, can we hear about the goat roping?
you can hear about.
Co-host.
No, I'm host.
Maybe RT, the co-host, can tell us about the goat roping.
Yeah, but let's talk about this. I had somebody this week actually here in the No Limit Cafe ask me a question, and it's made me do some thinking and some investigating, and I'd like to talk about that. And the question that this person asked me was, why are the resident license and hunting license in Tennessee so much higher than the surrounding states? You know who asked me that question?
I do.
Okay. Wyatt's the one that asked me that question. And I started trying to figure out why. I told you what I thought at the time. And this is kind of interesting because, and I think, and you could tell me if I'm right or not, Wyatt, the reason you asked me that question is because the Game and Fish Commission voted to increase, I think, license fees. I don't know what percentage it was.
It's went up about every year.
No, it hadn't.
No.
28 or 29.
Or every other year.
No, it hadn't.
Now, here, well, see, this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about that. And I'm going to tell you what the information is. But you went up, what, 28 or 29%?
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I got this data, and I think this is interesting. At least it is to me. I'm going to have to look on my phone because I've got it saved here. I'm going to ask you this, Wyatt. When and what year did Tennessee first require you to start purchasing a hunting license?
Oh, God.
No, it was after God created the
That's
world.
right.
It was after that.
Tony said a funny.
I mean, I can.
Ding, ding.
Oh, see, I'm 28. I can't remember, like, how old I was when I got my first license, but
It was before then.
I was
Yeah.
a kid. Like,
No.
so it's got to be more than 28 years.
1903.
1903.
They first required a hunting license in 1903.
That's interesting.
And
Pretty cool.
it was, according to this data, first resident hunting license created by Tennessee General Assembly to fund wildlife conservation and game warden salaries. Do you know what that, in 1907, do you know what that license fee was?
$5. 3.
It was $3. You looked at my thing. It was $3.
No.
It was $3.
$3.
I have one that was $5, so I knew it was somewhere around there.
Well, the $5 one come in 1913.
Yeah. Mine was a 1923 license, I think I have.
In 1907, they said the first one at $3.
1903.
I'm sorry, 1907. In 1903, you just got a fine if you were hunting.
Got it. Okay.
That was it. So, and this is, and we're going to talk about today. I think y'all raised, the Tennessee Game and Fish Commission raised the resident fee to $42, which right now it's at $33. And sometime later this year, it's going to be raised to $42. Now, I want to look at it as, well, it is, in 1907, it was $3.
Which was around a day's wages, probably,
You know how much
or 2 days.
$2,025 it would take to buy $3 in 1907? This is because of inflation. I mean, y'all are old enough, and I'm old enough to know that a dollar don't buy today what it did 4 years ago.
Right.
You know what it would equal to today?
What?
Now, just put this in context. Right now, a resident hunting license, just your regular hunting and fishing license, not your big game supplements and things like that, are $33. They're going to $42. In that's the equivalent of $100.68 in 1903 money. So, really, hunting license now compared to when they first started is cheaper than they were in 1903. I mean, that's just kind of putting it in context. And then,
What's a sportsman's now? 168?
It's going to 185.
So it's going to 185. So I remember when I started buying a sportsman's, don't quote me on this, but I think it was like $136.
I think it was 100. It was 85 or.
So that's
115 when I
that was
started
my
buying.
question: is why does that one keep going up every year?
Because you get so many more benefits with it.
You do. You get that's the license to buy if you're going to hunt multiple
WMA.
WMA, fish, turkey, deer, ducks. That's the one to buy.
It's really a good value.
It just
The sportsman's license is a combination. If you're going to hunt waterfowl, you're going to hunt turkeys, deer with archery. Gun, muzzleloader,
yep.
archery. If you're going to trap, if you're going to fish, if you're going to go on to WMA to require a permit, the yearly sportsman's license is the one to get. But I guess the thing I wanted to bring up is compared to what it used to be, it's kind of it's a really good value compared to when it first started. Now, and I'm going to address something you said, license going up every year. The license fee that we have right now was set in 2014.
Yeah, I don't know that I don't know that so what I was talking about was the sportsman's going up. It's went up a few times.
I'm sure it.
The normal resident hunting and fishing license, I think it has been $33 for a while.
I don't know about the sportsman's.
Yeah.
And then, that's just kind of a historical context. And then the question you ask is, well, why our fees are more? And I asked somebody that's in the know on this, and they said, yes, our resident license cost more than surrounding areas. And then I was like, well, why? And from what I gather is the TWRA, everything they provide, boating, wildlife management, law enforcement, everything that the TWRA done is funded by license sales. Also, the TWRA gets a portion of some federal tax on ammunition. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure
Pittman
that's
Roberts money, I think.
I don't know what it's called. That's all, probably apportioned amongst the states based on population. I have no idea. But if you look, and the TWRA gets no tax money from the General Assembly. If you look at Kentucky, they get their state gives them some tax money. Missouri, they get a dedicated portion of a sales tax. Arkansas gets a dedicated portion of a sales tax. They get licensed sales. Mississippi, same thing. Alabama, same thing. All the surrounding areas. And I guess ours are license fees are, I'm not going to call it so high, but they are where they are because that is basically the sole funding source of the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency. In other areas, other states, they're equivalent to
They get a little bit of government funding, which is what you said the other night was we probably don't get government funding like the other states.
Yeah,
do.
the state of, the Tennessee, I'm sure there's boating fees and things of that nature. So, you're using the resource, so you're paying for it in some way or another. Now, out of the big scheme of things, if you're going to hunt, out of the big scheme of things, your license is probably the cheapest thing you're going to buy.
That's right.
You're going to spend $300 on a jacket and $1,000 on a pair of waders and things of that nature. So, the TWRA increasing its fees, it's just a needed thing because things have gone up. I'm not here to defend them, but I can see.
Well, to be fair, I wasn't complaining. I was just asking a question.
No, you weren't. I didn't. No, you weren't. It wasn't a complaint. It was just you asked.
Yeah, I was just wondering why ours are more than, because I wish I had a lifetime license, but I don't. So I buy the sportsman's every year. And it has went up a few times from when I started buying it. And it's like, dang, how many more times is this thing going to go up?
If you're 25, your best value is to go ahead and buy the lifetime license.
He's getting married. His hunting days are numbered.
Oh, God.
He still have the license, though.
Yeah.
It couldn't be further from the truth.
All right. We'll see.
But anyway, you have a lot of people that purchase.
We used to be friends.
Purchase the lifetime license for newborns and things of that nature.
And that's really picked up lately.
That's the move.
People are doing that a lot,
I just
Because that one's going up too.
Can I identify as a 6-month-old?
Yeah.
Can you? How early do you have to be to buy it? 3?
You got to have a
Social Security number.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then to 3 years old, I think and then it starts.
3
And
is
it's
the
going
cutoff.
up to 360 or 380.
to me, just me thinking, selling. I mean, you would think at some point in time, if they sell all of these, lifetime hunting license to people that are 0 to 3, that eventually the revenue source would dry up. I mean, I don't know that. I guess they're thinking long term.
Yeah, they say they lose money after a certain time.
I mean, you would think that
Somebody hunts like 30 or 40 years, they start losing money on them.
and maybe they're putting the money in some kind of trust or something to help. I don't know.
They are.
But, license fees went up and they were $33 from 2014 to, I guess, until I think it's just July.
Yeah.
They're going to be 42, just your regular old hunting and fishing license. And I also was informed that some hunters are actually going to get a break on their license, because from what I was told is, and you may want to check this out, they're going to combine. Like right now, if you want to hunt deer, you got to buy a muzzleloader, you got to buy a rifle, and you got to buy an archery. And I think they're combining all of those into just one. That's what I was told. Anyway.
Well, thanks for that information.
Well, you're welcome. Anybody else want to talk about the price of the hunting license going up? RT?
I'm good.
Does that bother you?
Yeah, but
Yep. I knew the answer to that.
just the way it is,
Why does it bother you? I mean, I'm
because it costs more.
okay.
I don't think you should ever be happy with paying more money for something.
Do you get?
But
Do you get?
that's the way it is.
Well, I mean,
Inflation.
inflation. I guess the TWRA could keep it at $15. I mean, or $3. They can go back to $3, but don't you think, Wally, that would generate less revenue?
Well, they'd have to shut down everything.
Yeah.
I think the $136 Sportsman's, that's what it was when I started buying it. I think that was a good bargain for what you got out of that license. I think 185 now is like, it's a little steep. Because nothing's been added to it, has it? I mean, you're not getting any more opportunity. It's just going up.
You got a point, White, but when you paid $135, how much money did you make?
Less than what I make now.
How much was
And now you make more, even though it's still the same White. So are you worth more, or is there a value from time? I don't know.
Let me ask it this way. A can of dip.
Has went up.
When you
About a drink.
I mean, when you, I don't know if you dip, right? Some.
Yeah.
I mean, when you
Unfortunately.
were buying that $135 hunting license, how much was a can of dip?
$3, $4.
What is it now?
$6.
How about
So
the
it's-
eggs?
So it's doubled, but your hunting license hadn't, and you're getting the same amount of dip. You're getting the same amount of nicotine. I mean,
Get a different brand.
you like a candy or like a bottled drink.
Yeah, everything has went up.
I mean, it's gone up.
Everything
You know,
has went
it's
up.
kind of like eggs. We probably could afford to throw eggs when we was young if we did, but we sure couldn't afford to throw them now.
I mean, eggs $4 or $5 a dozen.
And do you think that's why it's costing TWRA more to operate because of
Fuel,
inflation?
equipment, yep.
Inflation, everything's going up.
Self-feeding thing,
So it's costing them more, which in
salary.
result,
Yeah, talk about the pay raises and stuff, Wally.
Yeah, they give all the state employees a pay raise, and TWRA has to fund that also on theirs because they're all state employees.
yeah.
So that's, we were operating pretty good, but everybody needs to make more money. So to make more money, you just got to take from somebody.
Charge us more money.
You have to.
But they don't get money from the General Assembly, but the General Assembly,
well,
they required a raise for law enforcement.
yeah,
Yeah, it makes sense.
it does. I mean,
Makes sense.
everything involved
Everything's
costs
getting-
more.
Everything's more expensive to operate. So
McDonald's going to bring the price of fuel down.
Your
right, buddy?
your shells cost more. I mean, your clothing. I mean, when I first bought a pair of waders, I think I spent $79.
yeah,
What'd you spend on the last ones you got?
130. If
Last ones I bought.
Yeah,
The last ones
no,
I
the
got
last
you.
waiters you got. What'd you
Last
spend on
waders I
them?
got you gave
They
it
were
was-
free.
They were a
so
gift.
you're going better the other way.
Yeah, but I mean those waders would now. I will say that the and I think I got Bandit Elites. I think they're a lot better than those neoprene waders we used to have.
And they were free, so you just came out like a bandit on that one.
Well, they weren't free to somebody.
Abandoned bandit.
I'll say this:
It was a gift. I appreciated that gift.
it 136. If we were still paying $136 for sportsman's license, that wouldn't go as far today. That's why it's got to be 185.
That's right.
Yeah,
We're
I
probably
mean,
getting the same thing, but it's costing more. So
You're not getting
get it.
less. You're not
Right.
getting less.
Probably getting better boat ramps and stuff than they used to be.
Probably.
Because they're updating some of those.
I mean, they're they're doing.
You got
things.
them nice Tier 2 blinds. I mean, that's a better thing.
Yeah.
Used to you'd had display y'all.
one of these days we're going to talk about that. But anyway,
Well, I'll be.
can we get on the goat roping now?
No, I got something else I want
I'm
to talk
dying to hear about
about.
it.
Well,
I am
something.
too. Was
RT.
I on it?
Do y'all want me?
you
Y'all
on the
asked me
goat
to be the
roping?
host, and I'm going to talk about the things that I've got, and then we'll talk about whatever y'all want to.
The Tony Show.
Well, I mean, y'all don't take,
We're going to call it the Tony segment.
y'all don't have time to. Y'all
The
don't
Tony
take the time
45
to come
out
up
on
with.
36.
Y'all don't take the time to come up with a program. Y'all rely on me. So let's talk. I've come up with some.
That's
things.
what
Why
I-
don't we
People-
just have Tony be our guest every week?
Because he's the host.
So
Well, he could be the host
we could
guest.
just start asking him questions.
Yeah.
The Tony Boys is what
Yeah.
we're going to change it to.
Anyway, something else that happened inside the No Limit Cafe, which is, by the way, located in downtown Bogota, Tennessee.
5-star.
5-star restaurant or 5-star
By our ranking.
By our ranking, it is the best, most elite restaurant in Bogota.
And the best value for your buck.
You
in
can't
Bogota.
purchase a better meal in Bogota than it's
can't.
it's a
I
value.
don't think inflation's hit the cafe.
You know, I don't think all 13 listeners have been in here either.
No, but one of the listeners wasn't here.
Yeah, they are.
And they,
all 13 been in here.
One of the listeners wasn't here, and he asked me a question, and I hope we can find somebody to talk about this a lot more because it is interesting, and I can't remember. I'm looking at the table where they were sitting, and it was full. It was probably 7 or 8 people, and one of the guys said, "Hey, I've heard you talk about channelization of the Old Baton River. What does that mean?" And what it means is when the Corps of Engineers of the state of Tennessee decided to channelize the Old Baton River historically was like any other river that was created. It meandered. It had, cuts and corners and loops around and things like this. And when they channelized it, they tried to straighten up all of the meanders. We call them old riverbeds now, meanders and things like that, and make it kind of like a ditch. Some of it's straightened out to help with flood control, and it probably did help with flood control at the very beginning, but it doesn't now. But anyway, anybody that wants to look or learn more about this, there was a book that was written by a guy named Jim W. Johnson, and I'm looking here right now, and it's Tennessee Outdoors Series. And the name of it is Rivers Under Siege, and the subtitle is The Troubled Saga of West Tennessee Wetlands. Mm-hmm. I've read this book. It was published, I guess, and let me see if it's a date on it. I can't. It's probably on the inside. But this book right here talks about the channelization of the rivers in West Tennessee. They channelized the Obion River and all forks. They channelized the Forked Deer River, and actually, I think by the time they channelized the Forked Deer River, lawsuits and stuff stopped them from channelizing the rivers south of the Forked Deer. So the Hatchie River, I think, is still a natural river.
It wasn't a very welcome thing either,
When?
the channelization.
Well,
I think that's what it talks a lot about, people that fought it and some lawsuits that went on.
Well, I guess it would probably depend on what group of people you were in.
Yeah. And I know one of the guys that is written, a lot of that book is written about Tommy Aiken
Yeah.
and his stance on it. And I think we could get him to come on here and kind of talk about that sometime if you wanted, Tony.
I think people would
I think
be
that'd be
interested.
great, RT.
Yeah.
People would be interested in hearing that. I mean,
Good idea, RT.
it was sold as a flood control measure, and it worked for a while, but it doesn't work anymore. A lot of the ground that was, historically bottomland. As soon as they channelized it, people went in, cleared it, started farming it, and most of that ground is back into wetlands again because you just couldn't. Well, and a lot
Wasn't
of
sustainable.
But now it has a levee that you can control water with and all, so kind of
So people didn't want it
and
channelized?
come back and
huh?
give us something else.
What was the majority? People didn't want it channelized?
Well, it affected people's ground is a lot of it, and
Mosquitoes
people
were so
fought
bad.
it, and people had different ideas about how it should be done to create,
What's
I guess,
the
more
negative
hunting or better hunting.
other than the land effect?
The negative was that it drained all the wetlands, but the positive is now it's created more wetlands.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, it's created more wet places. I wouldn't necessarily say wetlands. It's created more wet places. The Obion River was one of the premier waterfowling rivers in the world. I mean, it was. People came from all over the world to hunt the Obion River.
Best in the star galaxy.
And once they channelized it, a lot of the historic places that flooded, they just didn't flood anymore. Or if they still flooded, what happens is like Wally said, they created a levee, but it was not designed to be a levee. It was the spoil bank where they dug out the river and put it up there. Now the theory was you would have these ditches, these lateral ditches that would drain the ground on the other side of the spoil bank. Well, what happened is guess what? Beavers came in. Beavers stopped up those ditches, and a lot of timber, standing water and things of that nature. It just wasn't maintained. So it created a lot of wet areas, but not necessarily what was a historical wet land.
Yeah, because the river's got to get out now in order for some of those places to flood.
Well, from the people I've talked to that used to hunt the river before it got channelized, you get a 2 or 3 inch, right?
Yeah, it's flood.
And the river would get out and stay out for a
That's
week.
like that's like the hatchie.
It'd stay out
Yeah.
for a week or two, and you had
It was a lot broader too. It seemed when it got out.
well, it would go into what is now it would go into the flood plain, and you had a lot of walk-in timber hunting. I think that there's some old film that I guess it was Tennessee Game and Fish Commission made back in the day before they channelized people duck hunting and things.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the people are hunting in knee boots. They're standing in just shallow water. Mm-hmm. And from what I've been told is when the rains hit the Obion River and the Fork Deer River, all the guides on Reelfoot would leave Reelfoot and go hunt the rivers. I mean, it was that our uncle told us about how on opening day, all the St. Louis Cardinals ball players and stuff would go up to what they called the Turnpike, which I think is around Kenton.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was just, I think it was what you'd call a magical waterfowl river. And then it's a, it's kind of like a ditch, but it's coming back.
Yeah, I can see that now. I've hunted the hatchie when it gets out, and I mean, it goes. I mean, you can run a big boat through. I mean, way out wide. Like when it gets out, it spreads way far.
I think one of the things I think is kind of interesting is, the government channelized. I mean, and I'm not saying it's good or it's bad. I'm just saying it's something that happened. And then that ground, the wetlands drained, and probably the government helped subsidize the clearing of it. And now the government is paying people to put it back into wetlands.
And they'll pay to clear it again one day when they need food.
Well,
some of it they'll have to, or find some ground.
I would think that's. I mean, it's good when you can get a crop off of it, but there's times now where we can't even grow corn for ducks because it gets flooded out. It's not as good as it's not functioning. I mean, we're probably 40 or 50 years into it now, and it's not
60, 61.
Yeah, it doesn't drain.
40, 66, 64, 65.
I don't know when it started or when it ended.
I remember Daddy talking about 61, them big drag lines coming up through there.
Yeah, I mean, it probably worked for a while, and now it doesn't work as good. I mean, even it doesn't take much of a water to get the river out anymore. I mean, much of a rain. It just don't function. And they're not maintaining it. And it's going to go back to the way it was.
You know, they
at
still
some
sprayed it with helicopters when we was boys in the 70s. Sprayed all the willows down the river, up and down the side of it. They'd spray them, kill them, and now they done growed back up.
point. Well, it was designed to, I mean, it was going to fail anyway. It just,
It was designed by the government.
it wasn't, no, it was designed by engineers and funded by the government.
But didn't they do it for mosquito control?
They had their
and some
reasons,
other
and I'm
stuff?
not,
Mosquitoes were so bad.
They're still bad.
Well, they thought if you drained all the water, they wouldn't be.
it just didn't, well, what they thought, and I'm not saying it was a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying it was a thing. But what they thought was going to happen did not end up happening. I mean, a lot of the, at least back before they channelized it, there wasn't a spoil bank. So when the river got out, it got out, and when the river went back, it all went back, and everything.
Well, there
drained.
were small. It was a little higher right on the edge of the river where the settlements dumped out first, but it wasn't the big old spoil bank down through there the drag lines dug.
No, and then you got. I mean, and beavers set up shop, and the lateral ditches that they had dug to drain things, it just didn't. The beavers outsmarted them. But anyway, if you're interested in some issues about channelization, Rivers Under Siege by Jim W. Johnson, The Troubled Saga of West Tennessee Wetlands. It's a technical book, but it's a good book.
It changed duck hunting a lot.
Oh, it changed it here. Yeah,
Well,
it changed it here.
I actually have that book. I'm going to start reading it.
It's good. It's an interesting book. Hey, one other thing I want
that
to.
thing before it falls off the table.
What thing?
What thing Tony keeps hitting?
Quit hitting it, Tony.
One other thing I saw was yesterday. Actually, I was cleaning some ducks, and I was cutting open a duck gizzard.
Uh-oh.
And you know what I
What
found
was
in
you
them?
cutting them
What'd you
open?
find?
What was you doing with the duck?
Tell us what you found.
I bet it's from someone else's gun.
Yeah, I found shot, steel shot in it, and it's not. It
In their
wasn't.
gizzard?
Yeah, it wasn't from. Do you know what the gizzard in a duck does?
Yeah, that's where their food is.
Okay. Well, a lot of people. I didn't ask that. Try to embarrass you, but there's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of people that don't know that a duck doesn't have a stomach. It's got a gizzard like a chicken, and the gizzard is basically it's a big old muscle, and inside that muscle is a real thick, tough membrane, and ducks will eat food to get it in their craw, and eventually they get down to their gizzard. And ducks eat sand and little pieces of gravel and things like that, and that sand and gravel will grind that like a grist mill will grind up that grain or whatever it's eating and go into their system and give them nutrients. And the reason because if you look right there, it's a little piece of rock. But if you look at those, and I'm holding it up, I got a Ziploc bag. There was shot, steel shot. Now, it wasn't from a wound. It was because that duck had gone in and somewhere where people had been hunting and got that grit, swallowed it, and got into its gizzard. And there's all kinds of, there's a BB. I can see a BB.
So you're saying that duck swallowed some BBs?
Yep.
Absolutely. Not just BBs, but there's other smaller shots in there too. Look at that. That's what they do. That's how they get the grit in them. And
Tony, you're one interesting man.
well, thank you, Wade.
I don't know.
Huh?
You don't
I
believe
mean-
that either, RT?
Well, how do you? Well,
That they just happened
No,
to
it's-
find some
it's here.
BBs.
Well, I mean,
I
they're out
know
in the
it's there,
fields
but
doing this all the time.
I believe it.
Did he happened to find it? How many gizzards you checked, Tony?
30.
And that's the only one you found any shot in?
That's the one I did find. But I can remember back as a kid when they were talking about banning lead
kind of
shot.
gross.
When they were talking about banning lead shot and going to steel, I can remember when we killed a duck or two, I'd cut them open and I saw some lead shot in them back then. And really, that's why you don't get to hunt with lead anymore. They found that ducks were getting that lead shot into their gizzards. It was and lead is soft, so it was grinding up, and they were getting lead poison. Go back and read the studies.
I wished I knew if that steel shot would break down.
I don't know.
I mean, that's a question because it don't
they
purge.
come out
it-
like
it-
corn.
It'd take a while.
No, it once it gets in there, they don't regurgitate it. I think it has to pass through them.
It has to.
It has to be so small to pass through them.
Yeah, they'll see it right there. That's a little bitty rock.
Kidney stone.
Well, not to them. To them, it's their digestive mechanism.
It'd be a gizzard stone.
Gizzard stone. Do you cook those gizzards, Tony?
He puts them in his dog food.
Sure.
I know he does that. I was just curious if you've tried a duck gizzard.
I did one time. I mean, it's just like a chicken gizzard. The hard part is getting the membrane. That membrane is tough.
You can't eat the membrane?
It'd be like chewing on a piece of gum, I think. But I guess you could. But like a chicken, that chicken gizzard has that membrane in it too. So somebody at the chicken gizzard factory, they got something that cuts them things off. I mean, a lot of people eat chicken gizzard. I mean, they got livers in there, just like a chicken liver. It's in a duck. But anyway, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
what's
very
next?
interesting.
What's
It really
next
is.
on your itinerary?
I'm gonna wrap up.
The goat roping,
The goat roping.
because I don't remember it.
RT, let's hear your side, and then we'll hear Tony's side.
No. What was that, Tony? Tony can talk about it.
I don't know which one you're talking about, RT.
There's been so many.
You know, the most memorable one,
The most recent one?
backwater.
The backwater goat roping. Oh,
I wouldn't call
last
it.
Saturday morning.
That's exactly what you called it.
We killed 8 or 9 ducks, so that
did.
wasn't a classic
You
goat
harvested.
roping.
But we
Well,
thought
you're right. We harvested.
it started out one.
It started out
I
very.
know what they're talking about. I was.
It started out very interesting, and it's going to be. I was late, but
Yeah, you were late.
I wasn't late. I told you I wasn't going to be there at the time. You said, "Okay, we'll come get you." So that wasn't being
You
late.
said 7.
But
When did he show up, RT?
I was a little bit.
Well, you could see his lights down on the other side of a mud hole because he couldn't get his truck in 4-drive.
I couldn't get my hubs locked in, but I've got them locked in.
I figured yours manual.
It is man. Well, it is man. It is man. You got to go out and lock your hubs in with your hands.
So what happened?
I really wasn't involved in the first half of it. I was just involved in the second half of it, and I'm glad I wasn't involved in the first half of it because I'd have been frustrated.
It involved a chainsaw
Oh my God!
and about
You know when you get
how
in the
many
boat
decoys?
and the guy, I mean, and you get there and Wally says, "Y'all go ahead.
I'm gonna go
Here's
get Tony.
here's a chainsaw."
Was this?
Yeah.
What was you cutting?
He said something
We
about the
wasn't
chainsaw
sure.
about 3 or 4 times. I looked at Todd. I said, "He knows something we don't." He gave us a chainsaw and is leaving.
Yep.
to get me. That's why he said it's okay if you're not here when we leave. I'll come get you. I think it was a setup, and I was the unwilling participant.
Well,
But when
hold on. You need to describe it, RT, because you was actually there for the whole thing.
I can describe it as this: when I got there, we were going to hunt. I guess the blind was going to be should have been facing in front of us. Well, they were. They were.
That floated
was that
around
way.
was facing the levee. But hey, needless to say, all the decoys was over there by the levee about 50 yards too, where it was shallow enough to put them out.
Yeah, because they didn't have enough string.
Oh, I know where this is at. Where the water got so high.
Yeah, they didn't have enough string for the decoys.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough string.
We
for
didn't
the
actually
decoys.
have the decoys.
No,
Well, for whatever you had, there wasn't enough string. The rope on the blind had been, I guess, cut by a beaver.
Yeah, it
not
was a
tied
beaver
up.
trail.
Who knows what happened?
It was a beaver trail right beside it.
I'm not going to blame it on beavers. It's just as likely we didn't tie it up.
Just as like.
And so where it was tethered to one end, but the other end was where the front was just supposed to be.
Yeah.
So they were hunting over about, 10 yards of water before you'd hit
A
land.
small hole with the whole big field behind them.
Yeah. So we had to get there, and by the time I got there, they'd already had the spread out. And
big spread.
3 of the 6 people were already hunting, and then we come in, and then we had to push the front of the blind, and we had to find-
chase a jack
Black
for
jack.
30 minutes.
Yeah, they crippled a blackjack.
Was the blind brushed still?
It was
The blind
It
was.
was.
Right?
the blind was brushed.
Good.
Now the inside wasn't clean, but the blind was
Nope.
brushed. There was a cooler in there that
Could
he'd
have
been
been a
in there
body.
for 10 years for all
Yeah.
I know. And boom.
Oh, I had to get in that blind in the summertime. I was scared to death. I was going to step on a snake or something.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well,
we finally got it. It was tied down when we left. And on the way, but I will say this about RT. Now I'm used to Wally's typically the pilot of our boat.
Captain.
Well,
Anybody drives a boat's the captain.
no, it's not.
Yeah,
Pilot's a flyer.
No, the captain is
Captain.
over the boat.
You're
the
wrong.
Okay.
If you don't have a pilot, you got to have a captain.
Yeah, but what if?
Captain can be the pilot.
Anyway,
But the person you said always driving the boat is the captain. The captain does not always drive the boat.
All right.
But regardless,
so did
let's
Gilligan
just
or the skipper drive the boat?
well, the skipper.
All right, he was the captain.
He was the skipper.
hit the skips.
You said-
10 seconds right here.
Anyway, what just to let
All right,
Wally
Gilligan, tell
just
us
to
what happened.
We'll call Wally the admiral and the pilot, so we can stroke his ego a little bit.
Hey, have you
Typically-
seen his trophy?
Hey, my
Tip-
award.
yeah,
I'm glad
yeah.
you brought my
I'm
award
glad-
up.
Typically, when Wally's the admiral over the fleet and is piloting our boat as we go through the woods, I mean, if there's 10 trees there, Wally will hit 12 of them because he'll back into one of them twice. But RT didn't hit a tree.
He had an
RT,
outboard, and I run a Go Devil.
It really wouldn't matter.
So you're taking up for RT, saying
I'm not
he's a
taking
better
up
captain.
for RT. I'm not taking. I called you Admiral Wally out of respect.
We need to get Todd on here to describe the
Yeah,
day.
because they were
He
fun.
was-
They
yeah.
were laughing.
Yeah.
Todd and Boone were just dying laughing.
Yeah, they
the whole
just
time.
embraced it. They were-
RT's daddy, I don't think was that happy, but he's quiet.
No, he
anyway.
didn't care.
Oh, he wasn't acting mad or nothing, but he was right in the middle.
He
of
could
the
tell
GoPro.
early on how the day was going to go, too.
But he'd been
He
there
was
before.
like, where's the decoys?
I guess the moral of the story is this: when you have as many chainsaws in the boat and butcher knives, because we do have a butcher knife, which I don't
as people.
know. I'm talking about his decoys.
Oh.
Then you may be on a goat roping.
Our quick koi looked really good 60 yards away.
Hey, guess
Then we
what?
went and picked it up, and the battery box is still
Yeah,
10 foot
and
deep.
Wally blamed it on me.
It was your fault.
I picked it up and it fell off.
Guess what?
Yeah.
What?
Quick Koi is sending me my new unit Monday.
Well, I wish they'd send ours because it's in the bottom of the water.
I sent mine from the Bogota post office. I sent it back to him. I got the guy's number finally.
You
Why don't
did
you-
pull it
hey.
off, Tony.
I didn't pull it off. I just picked it up. Y'all didn't have it tied down the way it was supposed to. I guess that's your fault.
No, I didn't. I didn't put it together.
Who put it together?
It needs them little cable things
Yeah.
in between each one.
Yeah.
Who put it together?
I did.
Okay, but it was still somehow my fault.
Well, you picked it up, yanking on it.
Yeah,
You'd have been
he yanked
gentle.
on it.
Are y'all done fighting?
No.
We ain't yet begun to.
I gotta go hunting.
Yeah.
How come your phone keeps saying, "What? You got to come home and do the dishes?" And
Wally, why?
I think
don't
we
know.
need
Why?
to.
'Cause you lost your manhood.
I didn't.
Let's talk-
you got to have it before you lose. If I had my call to here, Wally, I'd shake on that one.
Cha-ching,
He's got his.
cha-ching.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's probably about time to wrap this up before we jump the shark. Do you know what that means? Jump the shark.
The short.
Shark, Wally. Shark. An admiral ought to know what a shark is. Have you ever heard that
I ain't
term?
never jumped a boat over a shark.
You have never heard that? Oh,
you?
my God. Well, I'm going to explain
Hold on,
it.
have you?
Nope.
Jump the shark.
RT, have you heard that?
I'm trying to think. I think that's a reference to a TV show.
Yes. Jumping the shark. You remember
Spell
how
shark.
What show was it on?
SHARK? How do you
Oh,
spell it?
shark.
How do you
I
spell
thought
it?
you'd use it English. Shark.
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 Yeah. Oh,
Shark.
yeah, you're really the
Not
one to
shark.
you're really the one to correct somebody's pronunciation.
Hey,
You
where-
are.
So country.
Hey,
Where is the A?
pronunciation?
Where's the A in Missouri?
Pronunciation.
Where is the A in Missouri? Since we're bringing up pronunciation.
Missouri.
Man, I was in a bad mood that we got on here. I'm feeling better.
Where's the A in Missouri, Tony?
Somewhere amongst all them other letters. It just depends on how you spell it. That's how I spell
He
it,
said
Mister.
you're one to tell someone how to pronunciate something.
How would you say it?
Pronunciate.
There's an R in
The
there.
R. You didn't miss the R.
Enunciate
I thought
has
it
an R in
was
it?
enunciate.
Pronunciate.
I want to hear you say Missouri again.
Anyway, jumping the shark. It's in reference. Remember Happy Days?
Happy Days.
I remember Happy Days.
Happy Days
Fonzie.
show. Fonzie, remember the episode where Fonzie jumped the shark in his boat skin? I mean, skin behind the boat, and he jumped the shark in his leather jacket. Well, you're going.
But I kind of can remember that.
The Fonz.
The Fonz could do it.
These happy days are.
But anyway,
Hey,
after
Trump's kind of the Fonz. He's coming into office for long.
after that,
Monday.
the ratings of Happy Days went down, and now when a television show or something is on its last legs, they call it they've jumped the shark.
Love a dog.
Yeah,
Well, this podcast jumped the shark when we started.
Yep.
yeah.
Let's hit on the youth banquet a little bit. I think we need to post something and try to start getting somewhat of a head count on people that are coming.
Yep. We should make a Facebook event and start sending out invites, and that way they can hit yes, going, no, or maybe.
Well, they're going to have to tell us how many kids they're planning
I
on
think
bringing.
in the Bogota Boys ways, we just let them show up. 'Cause
Yep.
ain't nobody ever going to respond.
Yep.
Well, you could.
I mean,
get
you
an
think
idea.
You could try.
We relate to people that don't follow.
That don't
What is
have
that called?
technology.
No, they got technology.
I
They
think-
don't have structure like Tony does. You know, we kind of don't have structure.
I like structure.
I know you do, but I've seen your structure.
I think you're a good. I think
It's weakly built.
I think what you have suggested, RT, is a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Tell you
Because you may be randomly planning on 50
Randomly?
people. Yeah, that's what you're talking
Let's
about.
jump
random.
the shark right through this.
Talking
baby.
about 50 people come, and then 100 people may come.
We'll
yeah,
be
it's
prepared.
a good idea.
But
Either
let's do reach out, and then still, if you don't, please try to show up.
Yeah, if you listen and you think that you're going to come and bring some kids,
Yeah, let us
Give
know.
us
how many.
some
let somebody know
Yeah, just let
some way.
Yeah,
And it's on January 31st at 5:30 to 6 o'clock, somewhere in there, at the Bogota Community Center.
Yeah. And of course, we'll probably have chili and hot dogs.
Yep.
So we'll serve that at the Bogota Cafe if it's left over for like 2 weeks.
Yep, that'll be the 2 weeks of making profit.
But anyway, it's on it's on January 31st. We'll go to community center. It's open to all juveniles, right? And I mean, adults and things of that nature.
I think it's a good idea though to get a plan.
Yep,
Or so, are we planning to get a plan, or
we're gonna do
or
it.
we got a plan?
We're gonna
I
do
think
it.
we do need to,
Get Trey to make
after
a
this
Facebook event.
episode, we need to talk about some things. And
Well, call me.
all right.
But anyway, is there anything else you want to bring up, RT, before we sound off?
No, is this our last words, our last comment?
This is the last comments.
Oh, stay humble.
Stay humble.
Stay kind.
Hey, and I seen a good thing. It said,
Stay safe.
and take your lady out to lunch or supper, especially on the days the ducks ain't flying.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
And
I
the,
got a
remember the
quote I'm
J&S?
going to read.
and the women can take their husbands and men in their
The
lives.
J&S migrator
I think
deal.
mine's about to go hunting with me this evening.
The J&S migrator deal.
Yeah,
I'm
J&S
going to start
Migrators.
reading a quote.
Hold on, let us mention J&S migrator.
Facebook,
Of course.
J&S Migrators looking for 20 kids with St. Jude, cancer, any disabilities. Reach out to them on Facebook, J&S Migrators. They're going to put you up at their lodge January 31st. Take you hunting.
Now it's over to you, RT.
Yeah.
Back to you, RT.
I'm going to start reading a quote for my last thing every episode.
Okay, read a quote.
awesome.
That's a good idea, RT.
Yeah, this one's Ronald Reagan. The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Well, that
So if we all had a quote the other day, can we all have one too now?
Well, no, next week can be yours. We can.
Oh,
eat.
well, forget mine by
let's
then.
not deprive RT of a quote.
I think it's awesome.
Let's
Yeah,
all-
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Ronald Reagan did.
I'm not.
I think that
Yeah, we'll start leaning on a quote. Why don't we let RT?
Hey,
gotta
have you noticed people's attitude has gotten a lot better since
is.
November?
And by the
yeah.
way, our hunt
yeah.
giveaway is going to be on Inauguration Day. Did y'all
that's what they
realize
were
that?
giving it away.
Yeah, January
That we were
20th.
told them.
I'm calling you today.
Well, this won't even be out till after that.
I know, but that's fine.
It's also the day that the national championship game is going to be played.
That's right. So it's going to be a good day. I think it's a good idea. Like you pray every time, we'll let RT do a quote every time. Then we'll let Tony in, and I'll just sit here and watch y'all. I like that.
All right.
You mean and be quiet?
So
Yeah.
you want me to say
Why
another
don't you be
quote?
quiet?
No, you just did
tell
it.
us your quote.
I'll give us another one. That way we'll be in order.
Yeah.
He done quoted. Quote again.
Quote, pray, close out.
I'll
Wrap
give you
it up.
another Ronald Reagan. This one from the Dome.
He's going to sound it off.
If we ever forget that we're a nation under God, then we will be a nation gone under.
Amen.
Amen. To you,
All
Wally.
right, now I'm going to pray. Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us again to do another episode. We hope we bring some kind of pleasure to our 13 listeners' hearts, and we know we do bring some to ours. Lord, let us be strong in everything we do. Let us always try to do the right thing. Let us always try to help others. And let us always walk Christ-like and try to bring someone to you. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. This is Bogota Boys. It's the end of this episode. I don't know what episode is this?
This will be
38.
No, 37.
Somewhere between 35 and 40. The episode somewhere between 35 and 40. I think we had a good talk today on some good subjects. Appreciate the quote. Appreciate the prayer. I appreciate Wyatt not sitting there and being quiet. But most of all, I appreciate you, the listeners, who take your time to listen to us ramble on. Surely to goodness you've got better things that you could do in your life. But we do appreciate you. We hope that all of you stay safe and you stay healthy. And we hope all of you we hope that you find Jesus and Christ and get some salvation. And this is Bogota Boys. We're signing out. We broadcast or record live for us, but it's a recording for y'all at the No Limit Cafe in downtown Bogota, Tennessee, the duck hunting capital of the world.